In my last video, I did the ranking of my top 10 favorite PlayStation games from the PS1, PS2, and PS3, as I never played any game from the PS4. So I thought this time I do a ranking of my top 10 favorite Nintendo games. Okay. So first off, the GameCube I have played some. I bought the Wii, but never played any game on the Nintendo Wii, and I sold it for much more than I had bought it for. It was the mini uh, Nintendo Wii, so I sold it to a friend for much more than I had bought it for. So, anyways, this is my ranking of my top 10 favorite Nintendo games. Not all games developed by Nintendo, like Nintendo EAD or Nintendo R&D 3, whatever. So this is the ranking of all my favorite games, my top 10 favorite games from Nintendo consoles like Game Boy, not gonna be any Game Boy, not gonna be any Game Boy Color, and not gonna be any Game Boy Advanced, even though I have played those. So this is from the NES, SNES, and Nintendo 64. Okay. So, for example, I scribbled down some stuff as always. I can't barely separate the Mega Man games from the NES. Can't barely remember which is one and stuff. So on the SNES, I haven't played Chrono Trigger or Super Metroid, even though they look amazing. One thing on the N64, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which is known as the greatest video game in the world. I have played that, but not that much. A little bit of it. Okay, so I feel guilty letting off some games like Super Mario 64, which I love. But remember also, this is a personal list. A personal list, not the greatest video games of all time or greatest Nintendo games of all time. It's my personal favorite, top 10 favorite Nintendo games from consoles and what have you, okay? So, 10. The Legend of Zelda Link to the Past, 1991. SNES, the third Zelda game, often known as the greatest SNES game. As I said in my earlier videos, yeah, this is the best SNES game. But how I like games and stuff, so it's not the best for me personally, not my favorite. It's an action adventure sort of RPG-ish game, you see, top down, developed by Nintendo EAD, one of my favorites. Great game, definitely my favorite Zelda game over Ocarina of Time, which is known as the best Zelda game and the best game in the whole world. Yeah, IGN put this as the greatest Zelda game. I totally agree. It's a phenomenal game. Okay, 9 DuckTales 1989 NES, based on the animated television series by the same name. Action platformer really, developed by Capcom, one of my favorite video game developers of all time. Yeah, this is a great game. Many hidden secrets and stuff. Great game. 8. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, 1990, NES. Side-scrolling beat-em-up game, developed by Konami, also one of my favorite video game developers, based on an earlier arcade game. And they did another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game before, which wasn't beat 'em up, but the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time for the SNES, and which was based on the arcade game Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Turtles in Time, which is known as the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat 'em up game and one of the greatest beat 'em up games. This is personally though Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. The NES port has a lot of meaning for me, so it's my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat 'em up game. Okay. 7, Super Mario Brothers 3, 1988, released on the NES. Oh god, my favorite NES game of all time. Yeah, it's a groundbreaking game in all senses of you think of a groundbreaking 2D platform game. Absolutely amazing. Developed by Nintendo EID and also IGN's #1 NES game, and at one point they ranked this as the #1 video game of all time, which I highly respect IGN. The rankings of video game, and that's the #1 source to go to for look to rankings of video games and reviews on. Yeah, amazing game. 6, Super Punch-Out 1994 SNES. This is not the original Super Punch-Out from the arcade machines from the earlier 80s. I gotta say I like this much more than the Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on the NES. This is a very comedic like boxing sports, almost fighting-ish game. Developed by Nintendo R&D 3. Great game. One of my personal favorites. 5, Worms Armageddon N64 2000. First released on Microsoft on computers and stuff. It's an artillery strategy, turn-based tactics sort of game. It was very original, the first Worms game, and how they did this and everything. So developed by Team 17 on the original Microsoft version, but then, as I found out now recently, the N64 version was developed by Infogrames Lionhouse. Didn't know this info before, that it wasn't developed by Team 17. Team 17 is one of my favorite video game developers of all time. I had Worms on the PS1 console, and I played on Worms 2 on computers, Microsoft versions. I thought Team 17 did the original version. No, the N64 version, apparently not. Okay, the original version was released on Microsoft in 1999. This was in 2000, but anyways, don't fucking care. It's my favorite Worms game, and it's my favorite N64 game. Yeah, over Super Mario 64 and The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Is very personal for me, this game, Worms Armageddon. Okay. 4, Donkey Kong Country 1994 SNES. I like this over Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest. It's a platformer developed by Rare, another one of my favorite video game developers. I love this game. It's going to percentage. How even if you finish the game, like let's say 64%, it's more stuff to do, hidden stuff. Great platformer. One of my favorite video games of all time. Okay. 3, Contra 3, The Alien Wars, which I played the first time. I always wanted to play this when I was a kid, but I played it on emulators on my laptop with SNES computers. So you put in the USB ports. It has the Mood 7, so every other level is top-down vertical, and other level is side-scrolling horizontal. Run and gun game developed by Konami. Level 3 though, they live a third level in the game, which is side-scrolling horizontal. It's a masterpiece of a level. One of my favorite levels in video games of all time. So many bosses. Oh god, it's amazing. Looks amazing. The move 7 here is used very good. The final boss, and also the final boss in this video game, try to beat that hard as hell. I beat it great hard. 2. Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island 1995. SNES platformer developed by Nintendo EID, also one of my favorites, if I forgot to say that before, who did basically all NES and SNES Mario games, and N64 some of them. But anyway, so yeah, this takes place before all other Super Mario games that was released earlier, and this is a follow-up to Super Mario World on the SNES, but this takes place before. So you play as Yoshi, and baby Mario as he is a baby riding on Yoshi's back. Many secrets, many hidden stuff, very complicated at times, this game. Great platformer, yeah, one of my favorite games of all time. S is number 1, X-Lay 1992 SNES. Same as Contra 3D Alien Wars. Every other level is top-down vertical, side-scrolling horizontal. Every other level, okay? In this game is amazingly made, okay? Probably the best use I have ever seen on Mode 7. Shoot 'em up shmup game developed by Konami. As in all other shmup shoot 'em up games, you have to learn the enemy patterns to the boss patterns and everything. I played this as a kid, rented it one time I think, but I got so obsessed with it, dreamt to play this game, so I downloaded it on emulators, played it on my laptop when I was grown up, and even though the graphics are worse on laptops and everything, when you not play on the original system and not then on an SD TV and everything, so yeah, it was. I wasn't disappointed. The memories I had, amazing game. Finished it on different difficulties and stuff. So amazing game. My favorite SNES game and my favorite game released on all Nintendo systems of all time. Yeah, that's just it. X-Lay, one of my favorite games of all time. As so many of these are, by the way. Like Donkey Kong Country 1994 SNES, Contra 3D Alien Wars 1992 SNES, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island 1995 and SNES, X-Lay 1992 SNES, and others in this list. So yeah, NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, Famicom, and the SNES, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Famicom, are two of my favorite consoles of all time. As others from like the PS1 console, PS3 console, PS2 console, by the way. So yeah, okay. So see you next time. Bye. I think the next video I'm gonna do is my top 10 favorite video games of all time. Gonna be fun. See you. Bye.